Cinema Classics is sponsored by the Gateway Film Center and is produced by John DeSando and Johnny DiLoretto. Listen to shows online at WCBE.org. I'm Johnny DiLoretto.
I'm John DeSando.
This is Cinema Classics.
It sure is. How about a twin bill? Two T's, two Toms.
Two Toms,
All right.
two T's. I got it. We're starting with the great Tom Cruise.
Yes.
The inimitable Tom Cruise.
And then next week,
The unparalleled Tom Cruise.
we'll have upstart Tom Hardy next week.
Got it.
We're starting with the Top Gun now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the big one.
Well, listen, we had to broach this subject because a couple of reasons. Number one was that Maverick, Top Gun, the Top Gun sequel that was due out in July, was postponed until December, I think, now, and also halting on the shooting of Mission Impossibles 7 and 8, also delayed.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm not getting my Tom Cruise fix for a while, John, and I needed to rectify that by talking about some of the movies you could see.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
That he's an action hero, Jack Reacher, Ethan Hunt,
Mm-hmm.
you know, these Mission Impossible and Jack Reacher stuff, he's great at.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible has over $1 billion or maybe 2 or 3 billion. So
They keep
what?
getting better. The Mission Impossible movies keep
Yes.
getting better. Okay, we got a guest.
We do. Larry's asking the same question I am.
Yeah.
So he's got a fantastic smile.
Mm-hmm.
He's full of charm.
Yeah.
He's still in his mid-50s, if not late 50s, looking like a man in his 30s.
Yeah. He's
So how does he deserve to be on Cinema Classics?
well because
If all he is, you know, glamorous.
I don't think that he's well. That is true. He is glamorous. I think Tom Cruise is the last great movie star.
Oh, okay.
Now here's a guy whose career didn't start out as an action hero. This is something that came later. He started cultivating this Mission Impossible franchise, and then along the way, he's made some other action movies, some sci-fi action movies,
Right.
all of which are worth a look. Steven Spielberg's Minority Report. He made a little movie called Oblivion that I think is underrated, and one of the great ones is The Edge of Tomorrow,
Oh, yeah.
otherwise known as Live, Die, Repeat.
All right.
So he's got all these great action movies under his belt, and I'll tell you something, the Jack Reacher movies, especially the first one, are both worth seeing. The first one is actually really underrated. It's a great little, sort of a lower budget, kind of low-key action movie. I'd like to see him do more of them, but audiences weren't necessarily receptive.
He has been nominated.
Yeah.
I think Jerry Maguire, is it?
Jerry Maguire, I think he was also nominated for Rain Man, wasn't he?
Don't know.
Yeah. God, Larry. One of the things that was...
So he can act.
He can act. I would love to see him do more
Yeah.
of this acting. You know, there's another movie that's available to stream. It came out a couple of years ago called American Made,
Oh, yeah.
based on a true story about
I forgot about that.
a pilot who was running drugs back and forth across Central America.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a nice role, right? Because
Yeah.
he's playing sort of an anti-hero,
Yeah.
not a perfectly clean figure, and he gets to do a lot of that old school 80s
Yeah.
style Tom Cruise charm that we don't see often enough, nearly often enough.
And now and then he does the mummy.
Yeah, well, hey, they can't all be winners, right?
I know they can. And I've always liked the one he did as the 4th of July, is it?
Born on the 4th
Born
of
on
July.
the 4th of
yeah.
July.
Oliver Stone, part of Oliver Stone's Vietnam War
Yeah.
trilogy.
And you mentioned Rain Man, so you've got some solid roles.
Yeah, listen, here's the other thing that this guy did early on in his career that I thought was really smart. He made a series of movies with the biggest movie stars, the legends.
Yes.
Right? It was almost like he was doing an apprenticeship with each of these guys.
Right.
So he does The Color of Money with Paul Newman. He does Rain Man with Dustin Hoffman. He does A Few Good Men with Jack Nicholson. And
Oh,
he picked
yeah,
the
these are
three,
good.
best actor/movie stars in the business, and he made 3 great movies with each of them. And those are all available somewhere. You can find them either streaming or for rent. But, you know, to get back to his acting and what the guy does on camera, he is just sort of, you know, he's a force to be reckoned with. The camera loves him.
Yeah.
That's where your eyes
Yeah.
go. And that is definitely ineffable movie star stuff. But he's got the chops to back it up.
And like a really fine star, he knows how to pump himself up in his private life, or off the screen, or on the screen when he's doing stunts. For instance,
Right.
he's notorious for putting his life on.
And that has become something that, you know, I read an interview with Val Kilmer recently, and they were talking about when they made Top Gun, and that back then, even then, he was really focused on the flying and doing his own stunt work and the motorcycle riding. That has only sort of increased in intensity over the years, you know, to the point where he's hanging off the sides of airplanes and scaling the world's tallest buildings. I think what I love about the guy is that some of that energy, this desire to entertain, right?
Yes.
To bring audiences the world over, top-notch entertainment, to commit himself, both in his performances and his stunt work, to that entertainment. There's something, I get a charge out of watching the guy. Even when he's just standing there talking to somebody.
Oh yeah, and you know that he's had some other stuff that's been kind of goofy. Although, you know, as he was a 14-year-old, he was in a Franciscan seminary. This guy was going to be a Catholic priest.
Yeah.
And then he bolts.
Didn't he have like a sort of wayward youth? Do you know that?
I don't know that, but then he marries some pretty glamorous chicks, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
Nicole Kidman was the first one, right?
Yeah, actually Mimi Rogers.
Oh, Mimi Rogers.
Right.
Yeah, she was first.
And she's not as glamorous as the other two.
No, but she was beautiful in her heyday.
Yes, right. And Katie Holmes.
Yeah.
Most recently, but Nicole Kidman was the big one.
Yeah.
I think she's now married somebody that they don't have to put him on a box to stand next to her. That's what she said.
Yeah, right.
I mean, Keith Urban was
right.
right.
Yeah. And I can't help but think that is just that's a major step down in charm and personality. But yeah, what else you got about?
Well, the other thing is that you have to deal with is it's a Scientology business.
See, here's the thing. I don't think you have to deal with it.
Oh well, it's part of that charm that we were talking.
Okay, yeah, the mystery, the allure.
Yes.
I get in this conversation a lot with people when we're talking about Tom Cruise, and they'll say he's crazy, or he's into this Scientology, and I got to tell you, I don't care.
Yeah.
I couldn't care less. The guy often has done really good things for people. Every interview you read about people who have worked with him, they say he's just a class act. He learns everybody, the names of people on the set, their family members. He asks them about when their families. When he shows up at these premieres, he shakes everybody's hand. He is in my book, inspiring, classy figure.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of Keanu Reeves, who is also very generous on the set. I mean, both these are really nice guys, glamorous though they are. He credits Scientology for abolishing his dyslexia.
Okay.
That's the big deal for him, is that he no longer had it. So Scientology firmed it up for him that was the way he was going to go.
Yeah.
And then we have goofy things like on the couch of some talk show.
Yeah, jumping around on the couch again. It's just, how can you contain the energy in this guy? Again, he jumped on the couch. So what?
Yes.
He's hanging off the side of airplanes for us.
I'd like to look, or at least remember, just another. How about Interview with a Vampire? Was that any good?
I have been meaning to revisit that movie. It was a huge bestseller, had a very impassioned following. And of course, when Tom Cruise was cast as Lestat, there was an uproar. Tom Cruise, the same thing that he experienced with Jack Reacher, where the author was like, this is what isn't who I had imagined playing this part.
Yeah.
You know, he's too short, he's too American, he's too this, he's too that. But I do remember his critics being pretty well silenced when that movie came out, because he did give an interesting performance as Lestat the vampire.
And don't you think an interesting one in, what is it, Tropic Thunder?
Oh yeah, Tropic Thunder was part of his comeback.
Yes,
campaign.
yeah.
He wanted to show people that he had a sense of humor.
Yes.
And he really knocked that cameo for Ben Stiller out of the park.
I'll tell you the one that I really liked is not a role that he plays very often, if at all, and that was Collateral Damage.
Wow, that is another unsung.
I think it's
movie,
a terrific
right?
movie.
Michael Mann's
Yeah.
tight little assassin movie.
Whoa.
He jumps into the back of Jamie Foxx's cab and then forces him to drive him around
Yeah.
L.A. as he, you know, pulls off all these assassinations. It's a great movie. One of the, you know, I met a guy who teaches handling firearms and shooting, and I was asking him just in the course of a conversation, like, what when you watch these movies, what actor handles guns properly in action scenes? He said he's never seen anyone do it the way Tom Cruise does it.
Wow.
He said he clearly studied how to do it, and he does it right. And if you want to see an actor properly handle a gun, Tom Cruise in Collateral is a top-notch example.
Well, it looks like we have some stuff to look forward to.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, and probably the reason for our broadcast today, Top Gun Maverick is coming.
Mm-hmm.
Live, Die, Repeat, and Repeat.
Oh, they're going to do that? Another sequel to that
it's
one?
in pre-production. And then Mission Impossible 8.
Yeah, 7 and 8.
Yeah, right, 7 and 8, exactly, yeah. So the boy's
Oh,
going to
wait.
be busy.
I got one more thing for you. I don't know if you heard this.
Oh, no.
Tom Cruise recently partnered up with Elon Musk and NASA.
Yes!
And in the works currently are plans to shoot a movie entirely in space. Who else, right? He's
Who
already
else?
out there. He's already in outer space.
Tom Cruise.